My movie recollection with Vincent Cloud.
And Scotty Allwood. I will do a normal one someday, but today is not that day.
You know what? This is a show that we are doing today that is random and it's quick movie reviews. It's part game show where we make each other guess the title, and then even if we guess the title and we haven't seen it, come up with a plot. The thing that makes this episode a little different is that we are cherry picking essentially. Like sometimes it's frustrating talking about a movie that you've never heard about, or maybe you don't even like, and you're just like itching there and you're like, I want to talk about something. So this is one of those episodes where we finally scratch that itch. All right. So, Scott, let me guess one of your movies here.
Okie dokie. So I do mine a little differently than Vince. He has a randomizer of all the movies he's basically seen in his life. I grab 10 movies and I just have him choose 1 through 10 or 1 through 5 on two stacks. Today we're doing 1 through 10. What are you picking? Number 10? Okay, that's a number 10. Three words. First word, the. I mean, you're never going to know this one. It's a foreign film.
Oh,
So it's called The Insight Mill. What do you think this is about?
the Insight Mill?
Yes.
Can't see
I go,
insight. Okay, so they incite things. They start up shit. They start talking shit. They start making things happen. That's to incite something, to incite a frenzy or a, you know.
sorry, it's The Insight Mill dash the 7 Day Death Game.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So they incite death.
All right. Is this like a Squid Game sort of scenario where it's like
It is
games?
a group of people that accept a offer through a newspaper that they just stumble upon, and they all go to this place, this location, this building, and they're all assigned a room. Let's see, there's 9 people. Let's say there are 9 rooms. In each room, they are given a weapon. So some people get a gun, some people get a knife, some people get some like silly string, just nonsense, to where it then becomes a game of trying to be the last one surviving. So you have to work your way through this, and there you have to be in your room at a certain time. And if you're caught out in the hallway, it's very fun to watch unfold just because you get to see who has what, and then you're rooting obviously for our main person, but then of course he sees a person inside and they start to get together, but then you're like, well, one person can only. If you have you ever heard of Death Note?
Yeah, I think so. An anime,
Yeah, they
anime.
made a live action version of it in Japan, and the main guy who plays the main character, Light, is huge over there. And he's in this movie. The reason I looked up this movie is because he was in it and it sounded fun. And it's just a lot of kill like people dying and you're watching like who's gonna die next type stuff. It's like a horror movie but the villains are the people in the game. It's a game essentially that they have to win to live and get that money that they initially signed up for.
This sounds a lot like Battle Royale, which is what Hunger Games ripped off essentially, right?
Yeah.
And that was from, oh my gosh, forgive me if I don't know, but some Asian country that was their movie. I think it was Japan actually, because it's got the guy. Oh my God, we're not going to talk about that movie. Let's talk about this. So, when was this made? Is this recent?
This was a good 10 years ago, probably, because I've had it a long time. And yeah, it doesn't say on here. It's a very Japanese looking case. But there's this director that doesn't direct this movie that I'm also very into. I'm not going to talk about him today, but eventually I will. But I'll spend like $50 just to have a English subtitled video, like a DVD or Blu-ray of his movies because they incite such emotion from me. Um, they're so good. They're so funny. They're so heartwarming. There's just all kinds of layers. But this movie in particular is just a fun kind of watch. I would love if they remade it, but like you said, it's very similar to that kind of style of, oh, they get a weapon and but it's more contained and it's more of a drama, I guess, if you will, of instead of just straight brutal murders.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, yeah, I've watched other movies like wasn't there like Session 9 or something where like Americans are given guns and they have to kill each other or something like that. But
I've
those
never,
are all interesting.
I've never heard of that. That sounds like something I'd be interested in checking out.
Yeah, I think it had that reality TV show sort of thing where they were being filmed or something. But yeah, these ideas have been around. I think from what I've seen though, out of these um movies is Royale is the better one. I've never seen Squid Game though. Isn't that basically the same idea?
The game's really good, man. There's a
Yeah.
reason why it flew off the charts when it popped out. And the second season's coming in December. So if there was a time to check it out, you wouldn't have to wait 3 years for the new season coming in a few months.
All
And like,
right.
but
Well,
that's another one that is such a fun premise, and then you get wrapped up in every single character. And again, there's only one winner though, so you have to watch and just watch every character that you've fallen in love with and how that unfolds. And it's so fun. I'm getting like kind of like goosebumps thinking about it. I need to do a rewatch before watch it the new season because damn, dude, there was episodes where I was crying. Maybe you won't. I'm pretty emotional when it comes to movies and TV. Um, but yeah, it's real good. It's worth it.
that's awesome. And listeners, both Scott and I basically met over our love of reality television, specifically the challenges, where you just force your friends and family to do whatever it is you thought of for a little bit of money, and it's great.
Yep. Did you just find me through there? Was from me doing the fish challenge?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're besties.
Oh my
I found
God.
each other through the screen.
New movie,
Yes,
shall
sir.
we? All right. Well, let's see here. I'm just gonna look at a shitload of movies and what do I want to talk about? None of these. Oh wait, actually no. Let's fucking talk about uh three-word title. First word starts with an S.
What year is it?
Oh boy. Oh yeah, you like years, don't you? You little year freak over there.
Yeah, I get really off on what year it was from.
2015.
Hmm.
Mm. Good year.
Around the time where I kind of started to not focus on movies as much.
No shit.
Who's in it?
Oh shit. O'Shea. Um, oh shit. No, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Who the fuck is that? One of those theme movies like The Maze Runner.
No. There is one guy that you will know, Paul Giamatti.
Hmm. I'm really
Uh,
upset with myself. Usually, if I get an actor in a year, I could get it, but this mu-
Corey Hawkins.
this must not have been like a popular movie.
Oh, it was.
No,
It's a biopic.
there's no. Sorry, go ahead.
Biopic. Geez, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Easy E.
3 words,
Yep.
and the second letter's S, or
No,
is
the
it
first.
is it
First is S.
straight out of Compton then?
Yes, 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 yes. Straight out of Compton.
Yeah,
Crazy
first.
motherfucking name, Ice Cube. From the well, I can't say the rest of the lyrics. They're pretty explicit.
Hey, you pussy. No. Yeah, I for some reason thought the second word was started with the S.
No, sorry.
But
The
I
Dam, have you seen it?
got it from those first clues anyway, Giamatti and 15. But no, I have not seen it. I believe it's about just the upcoming of the NWA, isn't it? Just of like their early lives, and Giamatti's probably the producer, and then he's hanging around and they're rapping, getting bitches.
Are you familiar with NWA?
I am not. I have one of their CDs. Like I've thrown it in and listened to it, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, because I do like that early '90s hip hop sound. I'm a big fan of the movie Juice. We've talked about it, and they have a club scene where it's like scratching records and stuff, and I just enjoy that vibe when it's on a beat. But no, I didn't really necessarily care for that album that I heard by him. I don't know if it was like a best of or with a specific one, but
Hmm.
did you like this movie?
Oh yeah, I really liked it. There's craft. You admire the direction, acting, writing, cinematography. I thought it was so good. It won best screenplay at the Oscars, I believe.
Really?
Um, yeah, and you have um Ice Cube's son playing him in the movie.
I did think that was cool. A cool thing they did. Um,
Yeah.
but Drake also produced it, didn't he? Like, so he was kind of close to the project, making sure it was quality.
Yeah, him and Ice Cube, because and Easy, of course, he passes away, and that's part of the movie and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that if the songs weren't as good as they were, yeah, well, even if they weren't, their story that they tell, like their mix-ins with what's his name, Suge Knight, are fucked up stories. Like they had good stories how they were kind of screwed over by their agent, which is or manager, which is Paul Giamatti. There's all these different elements that are just fun to watch, but also tragic. Like it basically goes from like the high highs of being creative, rapping and stuff, and then it goes to the lows of what they're even rapping about, which is the fucking bullshit police brutality that was happening. Like this all kind of culminates around the LA riots, the Rodney King thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, oh, it was nuts.
Just listening to you talk about it makes me not understand why I never made sure to check it out because it does seem up my alley of something that I would be like, okay, good soundtrack, good story, let's go.
Yeah. Oh my God. I highly recommend this. The only thing that was funny to me though is that there's, the NWA is known, they're a big group, but like they have three rappers essentially. Dre sometimes, but it's basically Ice Cube, MC Ren, and then Eazy-E. In this movie, it's like they completely shut out MC Ren. Like his character like doesn't say anything during the movie. You know what I mean? Like he's just this stoic dude, and everyone else has lines and story, but he's just kind of there. It's so funny.
I wonder if that's how he was in real life. Like
I don't
that's
know.
interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it works because like you really have to focus on Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre, Ah, so awesome. And yeah, I really like that actual album, Straight Outta Compton. It's fucking cool. All right, on to your movie.
All right, so this is one that I've just been wanting to talk about because I don't know anyone else who's seen it. But it's two words, starts with S. It is from 2020.
Oh boy. Two
It's an
words starts with this.
indie film. It's an indie film.
Am I gonna get any of these? Who's in it? Anyone?
There was a chick that was in a commercial for a few years, or maybe a year. It was around this time. It was a pretty popular commercial, and I think that's how she kind of got to be in this movie. There's a guy. There are people who look familiar, but I don't know how to explain who they are. One guy's from Search Party, the show on TBS that was going, that I don't know if you ever checked out, but it's about aliens, like a fur ball that comes into
Coming up blank.
All right, so aliens, furball. What do you think happens in this movie?
Is that- What's the title?
save, save yourselves.
Save yourselves. Wow, never even heard of that. Save
I
yourselves.
went on like just a random commercial that I like, or before a movie on a DVD, and I was like, that looks pretty interesting. And I like those two people because I've seen them and stuff, and they had a really good back and forth chemistry in this movie. It's one of the better parts about this movie. It was portrayed pretty realistically.
Oh, shit.
But the movie itself is about a couple who wants to shut off from the world. They want to go off into like a cabin and kind of like get rid of their phones, get rid of electricity, and just enjoy nature. And then suddenly a small, fluffy ball appears in their living room. And they're like arguing or something, and then they see it, and then they're arguing, and then it like had moved. So they're like, what is that? And then it becomes like these things can kill you. They find out the one that arrived at them is a nice one, but of course they're terrified and run off. And then like some cool, like it's a fun movie to watch. It's just I wish more happened, and it kind of ends on a make up your own ending kind of scenario of like what happens to them. I doubt you ever watch it, so I can go ahead and kind of tell you what happens if you'd like.
Sure, go ahead.
So they leave the place. They go out into the woods. Eventually, they see some people get killed. Blah blah blah, and then they end up with this baby that they're trying to take care of, and then they end up stuck in like a cocoon, like this invisible thing that just shuts them in there, and they can still breathe, but they can't get out. They're like it's invisible, and at the end of the movie, all of these pods start floating into the sky. So you have to go, okay, were they saved or are they being taken somewhere else to be killed? Because these creatures are actively killing humans on Earth in front of these two specifically as they had their baby. They tried to kill them specifically, but then suddenly they get stuck in this pod and they're getting floated into space. So, were the pods part of the alien race that came to conquer Earth? Or is that part of a different thing going on where they're trying to save them, the human race, by throwing these pods randomly on Earth to get them away from these furry balls? And yeah, so that's about it.
Wow. That
Like I
sounds
said,
interesting.
it has a lot of good relationship drama, realism, like humor that they have back and forth. I really enjoy when movies showcase little inside jokes that people say to each other, or something that necessarily the viewer isn't a part of, but the characters can still laugh about with each other. And then you can kind of become part of the joke that they have, and you can kind of realize when they're like having a moment like, hey, this is me and you type moment, even if they're enthralled in an alien attack. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, but overall did not. Was hoping for a little more because I mean, it's an indie movie, so there are big chunks of the movie where it just feels like padding the runtime. Let's try to just make this scene a little longer to get from point A to point B this longer instead of this here.
Are the little fur balls like, do they talk or are they just like rolling around?
I don't remember them talking. I think if anything, they might make a noise like a, but yeah, a lot of it was just them trying to understand. I mean, just think about, I mean, I keep saying that I didn't like it, but now I'm like, it's a very fun way of what if this random alien creature is just there? And then you have to be you and react to that. And that's weird. So you got this furry ball all of a sudden, like licking like it uses its tongue to like latch on and move. That's how it kills one person. It just shoots right through his chest or head.
Oh,
Yeah, killed him immediately.
that oh shit. Yeah, it sounds cool. I mean, like one of my favorite movies is Gremlin, so I like little critter movies, you know.
Watch the trailer or something afterwards. I mean, it looks like a good watch, and I guess at this point, I have to admit, I guess I kind of liked it. So,
Yeah, wait a minute. Did you say what the name of that actress, the commercial girl? It's not Flo from Progressive,
oh,
is it?
I don't even think it had. Okay, it's Santa Mani and then
Santa.
John Reynolds.
Oh, okay. I was hoping it was going to be what's her name from the AT&T commercials. I don't know.
Why is it like this? Why? Just fuck it. What look save yourselves after, and you can see who they are.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, new movie?
New movie.
New movie. All right, so what I'm going to do now is go to Letterboxd and I'm gonna click on shuffle. Hopefully I can do that. And oh my gosh, sometimes this website sucks and it pops up random ads like right where you need to click.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh fuck yeah. All right, let's talk about this movie. It's a five-word title. First word starts with an A.
What year?
Oh boy. You're lucky that this is a website and I just don't have my list on me anymore. 1981.
Yeah, I'm not good with early 80s. I'm good from, the time I was born, 87 to about 2015.
Hey, that's fine. A big blind spot is from 2007 onwards for me because I just stopped watching movies. So, this movie is a horror slash comedy.
Hmm. Slash com.
Uh, I don't really know the actors at all, but the director is John Landis.
He did some big movies. Not familiar with his catalog, though. I don't think
Um, I mean, it's about werewolves.
American Werewolf in Paris. I don't know.
Uh, London.
London. Come on.
I've seen Paris. London is the superior film. What do you think happens in An American Werewolf in London?
Some people from America go to London. Someone's seduced by a werewolf woman, and then that woman changes one of the guys into a werewolf, and then his buddy's like, "Whoa, bro, I'm your friend," and he's like, "I don't give a care. I'm a werewolf now." Roar. That's it.
Did you watch Paris?
No, I wanted to because I liked the main guy in it. Because that was like 96, wasn't it? With
Tom Everett Scott.
I'm gonna say Tom Scott, but that didn't sound right for a second. But I like him. Just never did see the movie though.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this guy, a couple guys, they're hiking, and right away, it's like you're put at this weird. It's actually nice. Like it's just two buddies talking about this girl back home or whatever, and like, oh man, she's so hot, and you're like, yeah, you don't have a chance. They're just giving each other shit. They're making each other laugh, and they're hiking, and they go into a bar, like it's getting really dark, and they're kind of in the country part of whatever, London, England. So they go into this bar, and the locals are just like, where the fuck are you here and stuff like that. And then they start hearing this, the most horrible, I think this is the worst, most horrific howl I've ever heard is in this movie. And they hear it, and they're like, well, you better go on with you now. And the Americans like, I guess, and they're like, yeah. But the bartender, she's like, no, you can't send them out there. And they're like, shut up, go ahead, mateys, but just, stick to the moors and beware the moon or something like that. And they get sent off, and the whole time the bartender's like, you just sent them to their deaths. They're like, shut up, woman. Like, it's already, you're like, it turns, it's super frightening. And that's the constant back and forth between comedy and horror. They're done well. Like when they run into the werewolf, it is so horrifying and scary, and brutally gory. Yeah.
Is that Harris's as well? Kind of the same setup? Because
Um,
I love the idea of when horror movies do this to where you feel like you genuinely get to know them. It's not like a character stock person plopped down and it's like, oh, that's the slut and that's the football guy, and they're gonna be not the person at the end. But when they actually build some characters that you like and they're like, oh fuck, well now you're scared for them at every turn because you know they're going into danger.
yeah. Well, that's perfectly expressed in that scene where they're attacked. It shows a lot of humanity where like there's David and Brian, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember the names now, but essentially Brian gets attacked by the werewolf and David runs off, and the whole time Brian's like, David, he's like getting torn up, and David's running out of fear, and then he just like snaps out of his like, Brian, and he turns around and goes back, but it's like too late. And it's just showing like, maybe I would have ran as well, despite that my own friend is getting tore up by this horrible creature, but he does go back. But oh man, but
I
like,
like even that, just the fact that it does feel real at that point to where a character would be like, oh fuck, I need to get away from that thing. Not even real, like it's just safety. What do they call that? Like,
fight or flight.
yeah, your fight or flight. Like you gotta preserve yourself. You have to like your life. You got to save yourself, and then. But then he knocks out of it because he's like, "Oh fuck, that no, that's my best bud. I got to go back for him." And it's cool that he goes back. And then what is immediately killed.
No, he is attacked as well, but those bar people finally showed up and they shoot the werewolf. And so a bit of the movie is David in the hospital being attended by this nurse who's fucking, I mean, she was like English, and I'm not really into the English accent, but I'm like, oh, she's kind of like proper, but like she's kind of sending some vibes out, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But like David is like having constant nightmares, fucked up, violent nightmares, and he's being visited by Brian, but he's all shredded up and bloodied. He's like, David, you have to kill yourself. You are now a werewolf, and in a couple of days, when the moon is full, you will do this to everyone, to a bunch of people. And David's like, no, you don't exist. Fuck off. Like he's in denial. Dude, there's so many awesome parts of this movie. I think it might be one of the greater horror movies of all time. I love this movie. It's horrifying. It'll make you laugh. It'll kind of make you cry. Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy.
not a big fan of like werewolves, which is funny because I made a movie called a werewolf movie. But uh so like if there was a movie that came out and the werewolf was the bad guy, I just would not be interested immediately in seeing it. What you described is what to me is a near perfect idea of what I would want to see in a movie. So it's something I definitely want to check out at this point.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you feel like, you know, what am I going to do? Like, because you're kind of put in that headspace where you're like, I don't want to believe that I am capable of killing someone, but your own friend who's massacred is telling you, like, you have to kill yourself. Like, this isn't something about evil or whatever. Like, you will save so many lives if you don't let yourself turn. Oh my God, it's so awesome. And one of the
And it
greatest,
will make you think about the whole should I do that? Because what if I am turning into a werewolf? But yeah,
yeah.
sorry, go.
No, no, just real quick. I love practical effects, and this is some of the great werewolf uh transformations ever seen. Like I just love it's horrific, and it cuts to like, I don't know. I don't want to ruin anything, but I love this movie. I remember watching this with my mom, and I personally think I was too young for this movie because they have like a sex scene, and I'm like, oh my God, like what are we doing? But it's so good, dude. It's so good. Yeah, I recommend it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Movie of yours, The Gallery of Scott.
Sorry, fans, this is another foreign movie, but it's again just some one of those movies that I keep putting in the stack that never gets picked. So I just want to talk about it because I love the movie. I want to get it out of the way, so I don't have to think about it anymore. So really, you're doing me a favor by letting me get this off my chest. It's one word, starts with a G. I mean, again, it's not something that you're going to get.
Okay, so it's not Godzilla.
No.
So no actor or what's the genre? How about that?
It is another, like, there are weapons involved. There's some fighting.
Go ahead. What is it?
It's a movie called Gantz. So, what do you think this movie here is about? It's
Uh,
got people dressed in black leather with guns. There's a big ball behind them or in front of them.
I have no idea what Gantz even means. I've never heard of this word.
I only saw it because, okay, this is funny. Again, the guy from the Death Note live action plays L, the detective in the movie. And so I was like, he was really good as this character, L, which if you've ever seen that movie, it's or even read the anime or watched the anime, it's such a specific, fun character that it's just very unique. So I was like, I got to see what else he's in. So I stumbled onto this movie, and it's about these two people who are killed by wait, did I ask you to guess?
It doesn't matter. You're into it.
Right, yeah,
Go,
just
go,
whatever.
go.
So these two guys are killed by this subway train at the beginning of the movie. Suddenly, they start to appear in this room. So they're like slowly, you can't see the top of their head, and then suddenly you could see like they're appearing that way from nothing to something. And other people are already in this room and they have their black suits on and they're ready to go. There's this big black ball in the middle of the room. Eventually, this black ball starts to say stuff and it's like playing music, I guess. And then like it opens up, they grab some guns, they put on their suits, and now they're out in the street of Japan or wherever this takes place. And they basically got no instructions besides the people who are already there. What happens is they walk around until they see a monster like type character, like a bad guy, and then they have to defeat this bad guy, and then they get points for how much they've done afterwards. So they eventually kill this guy, and then they're transported back to the room, same way, and then they watch the ball as it tells them their score, and if they get a certain amount of points, what they can do with those points. So at 50 points, they can get a better weapon. At 100 points, they can bring back someone who has died because people do die as they're
Well,
trying to kill this person. Or there's like 500 points, you can get out of this area, erase your memory of everything that happened here, and just go back to life, living your life. So it's basically that over and over, and you watch and you're learning all of this as you go with this specific character. So this character is scared shitless. There's a lot of this. But ultimately it's so fun to watch play out. And again, I didn't know anything about this movie. So just imagine you're watching this movie, these people die, they wake up in a room, and then they start fucking trying, like they're supposed to kill these like alien monster dudes, and then for points. So it's this weird game, and all these people who like already know what's going on, and it's just so fucking cool, dude. And they made two of these live action movies, and it's it started off from a manga, I believe they're called. So, and then it went into the anime and then it went to the live action. So it's just one of those like Death Note that kind of was popular enough to get to that stage. And I'm so happy it got to that stage because such a fun watch. I love these random little movies that we never get to fucking see because unlike other, like, we remake all kinds of weird shit, but We're not remaking these random movies like that Japan makes. Do they remake stuff that we do? Is there a Godfather
Yes.
like Japanese version out there or
I
Korean?
I think so. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I know that when we do remake these foreign films, they can be hit or miss. Like Old Boy sucked. I like the original Old Boy. And then, but The Departed was amazing. But I've never seen Infernal Affairs, that trilogy or whatever.
Oh, is
So,
that from something made from something from over there?
yep.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do want to check it out because like I said, I love The Departed, so it'd be cool to see how they do that
Yeah.
over there, over yonder. Yeah, I don't mind all these foreign films because like I'm never like I can't remember the last time I've seen a foreign film where I'm like, well, that sucked. You know, there's a reason why we hear about it over here, if anything. Yeah, so that's cool. There's still other movies I still have to watch, like The Host and shit like that. Parasite. Yeah, all those crazy ass films. Lady Vengeance, I think. Yeah. Well, what do you say, Scott? Do we have time for another movie?
That is up to you, big boy.
All right, let's go. Let's see if this movie is American. Enough of this foreign affairs. Oh shit. All right. Well, you know what? It's on the list here. Let's talk about it. Tour title starts with an S.
Title starts with an S. Step up.
Let me look up the year for you, although I think I should know this by
Not
now.
step up?
Nope. 97.
97 starts with an S. Ooh wee. Who's in it?
Um, Leave Schreiber.
It's Scream 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Fucking love that movie.
But what is it about, Scott? Tell the people.
Well, Sydney Prescott is now in college. And guess what? Some murders start happening, which are very similar to what happened to her when she was in high school. So she starts to try to figure it out with her and her high school classmate, Jamie Kennedy, Brandy, in the movie. So many good kills in this movie. I mean, I'm always kind of let down by the reveal. It's still fun to watch unfold, but it's so fun to watch them not know what's happening or who's trying to do this to them, and then one by one. I mean, that's that horror style thing of watching them try to escape the killer. This someone just posted about this on Facebook, made a status, and I made sure to mention this moment. I saw this in theaters, by the way, so I was like 10 years
Sure.
old.
Sweet.
But David Arquette, Dewey, and Gail, Courtney Cox, are in one of the auditoriums, and they're like being chased by Ghostface, which is the bad guy. And they are like Dewey gets stabbed, and then Ghostface is just chasing Gail, and then she gets behind this door of a soundproof booth, and the Ghostface is just fucking chucking chairs into this window or this mirror or the whatever they fucking want to call it window to try to break it, but it's soundproof and it's or break proof, I guess. I don't know. But he can't get in, so he's just kind of fucked. And man, there's so many good moments like that moment in this movie in particular. I wanted the whole Randy when he's on the phone and he's talking to Ghostface and he's being a fucking badass, just talking shit. Oh, Billy Loomis, that little beep. uh, yeah, and then he gets fucking murdered immediately. Oh man, such a good. I'm just going over here like a little fangirl. I have a Scream 6 like poster, movie poster in my corner that I look at every single time I'm on my computer. It's like, sit right here. I fucking love the franchise. Can't wait for the next one. Vince, go ahead.
Real quick about the next one. It like what is happening? It sounds like Sydney's possibly coming back. The
I
last time
honestly,
I
people love that Sydney's coming back. I couldn't be less into it. I love that they were finally getting away from that boring ass story. I'm still gonna go see the new one if she comes back, whatever. But there's no stakes with her. You know she's gonna survive, and it's fine, I guess. But I, it's just not as exciting. A new group of people. Who's gonna die? Who?
I even heard bringing uh David Arquette back, Dewey. It's
I saw
good.
that post where Courtney Cox was saying that she hopes something like that happens, and I'm like, no. Just let the movie unfold. We don't need some dumb bullshit just to bring back characters we don't need to see.
Out of
It
the
defeats the purpose of, I mean, especially 2 movies later where suddenly he's coming back in whatever form. Dewey died a crazy cool death and you did not see it coming. And then you're going to be like, meh, well, we want to film with him again. So here he is. I hate
uh
this Billy Loomis in the 5 and 6. Him being a little vision of his daughter. Oh, hey, how's it going? Daughter that I never met.
come on, Skeet Ulrich. He got paid, motherfucker. Good for him. But
Yeah,
no,
good.
let's focus on two, dude. In terms of the sequels, I think this is the better one, even though I had my complaints initially where I'm like, oh man, this is like beat for beat the first one. But there's an added wrinkle to it. I love Leaf Schreiber's character, Cotton Weary. I actually, when you mentioned like the reveal is a bit of a letdown, I'm like, I kind of wanted it to be Cotton. You know what I mean? Just because I really like his character. But the way that he's handled in the movie is good, though. Like if it had to happen that way, I'm glad it did.
It
We're
is really
like,
good.
yeah.
And like he should be the killer, but he's not the killer. He is just a guy that was wrongly accused that's getting a little too intense because he wants to make sure people know that he's not a bad guy, but he's coming off in such a bad way to try to portray that. And it sucks to watch happen because at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, fuck. Even at the end of the movie, when he comes out, and you're like, but then he's just like, should I go ahead and let them lead? Like, I could, oh man, you're right. I just also like Leaf Schreiber a lot, and it really bums me out what happens in the third movie.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, he is such a good character.
Let's talk about, okay, so I think it's rather unfortunate that Jerry O'Connell had to play the boyfriend right after the first movie because right away it's instant like, oh, it was him, it's him, it's him. And I like Jerry O'Connell a lot. Um, yeah, it does, but I just feel bad for his character, where it's like, no, it's not him. Like they could try all they want, like the slash, like, oh, how mysterious, every vein and artery. But I'm like, it's not him. I just knew it. I did though, however, read that in the original script or the leaked script, he was the killer.
And I think that I'm glad that he wasn't because that would have been beef for beef from the first movie for sure. And also, it just makes his character so much more likable because then he gets murdered, and it's just like he was such a good guy. He just wanted to be there for Sydney, and then he's just being murdered because of it. Like this poor fucking horn dog that just wanted to get some smooches.
He was such a gentleman. He didn't come off as like sex starved or anything like that
I
because
know, I don't know how I said
I'm
that.
sure Sydney gives some head. Well, no, I don't know what I'm saying. But no, how do you feel about his little musical interlude in the movie? I am still on the fence where I'm like, that's cringe, but that's the point. He's trying to make a grand gesture to like, hey, Sydney, I'm a good guy. I'm goofy and shit. I am not the killer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I don't I'd rather just skip past it when I watch it. I'm fine with it being in the movie. I like that it is, but it's not my favorite part of the movie. It's probably my least favorite part of the movie because it just is so long its own being like singing and dancing, and I'm not a big fan of when that happens anyway, unless I'm watching something that's supposed to be that. if that
Right.
makes.
This movie's really good considering this was pumped out so quickly after Scream 1. I think that the direction is solid, acting, writing. I'm really glad that it all worked out. One of my favorite deaths is just the image or the sequence where fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer, man, she gets thrown off that rooftop. And you're like, holy shit, that's hardcore.
It was one of the better chase scenes of the movie, if not one of the few, because I remember that being an issue with some of the people because they loved the chase sequences, and this one just didn't have a lot of them. But I felt like this had a lot more good tension is on the rise, like when they crash that cop car and
Yes.
they're trying to get out of the cop car. That moment is so beautiful. It with like you're just on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. Well, like it's the action sequence of the cop on the car, and then he's impaled through the fucking eye, and he's like moving and shit and twitching. And you're like, ew, that's fucking gross. But Ghostface is passed out and shit, and oh my God, like I really enjoyed that sequence. That might be the better one. We talked about the opening of this on another podcast, but to reiterate, Jada Pinkett Smith, you might not like her now or ever, but I feel like she's really good in that opener. Like she does that scene justice. You have the great Drew Barrymore in the first one, but I think she might possibly have the second best of the openers. I'm not sure though. But I think so.
She was such a good actress around this time. She was in some good movies. I'll give her that. Like she was, I hate saying like, but I do it all the time. But and again, I agree. She killed it in this freaking opening scene in every sense. I just believed everything about her. I felt she was a real person in this movie.
Okay, so I want to go back to the reveal. And I was disappointed. I was like, Mickey, I guess. I mean, he looks weird. He does look freaky, as what Randy said, the freaky Tarantino film student. So I'm like, okay, fine. He's kind of like Stu, I guess. But then out comes Debbie Salt, who's Billy's mom or whatever. And I like that actress from Roseanne. I think she's cool and stuff. But what I don't like is that after Mickey's like, I'm going to blame the movies, which is the opposite of what Billy said. I'm like, you're just kind of going the other way. That's kind of disappointing to me. And then to have Debbie shoot him down, betray him, and then just say, did you believe that for 1 second? That motivation? That was lame. I'm like, don't do that. Don't like I already thought it was lame. And now you're you know what I mean? So Mickey just seems so undercut. His character is kind of like reduced to very little in that movie after the reveal, where I'm like, oh yeah, even Debbie Salt is like, you dumbass. You don't blame the movies. So yeah.
He also disappears for a large chunk of the movie, which is too bad because he's a great actor. Timothy, I can never say his last name though. Uh,
Elephant.
and then for, I mean, it was fun to kind of like, I just never expected her still, even though, I mean, I was also a kid when I first watched it, but to have her keep showing up as this news reporter, you just thought she was some annoying news reporter, unless you were an adult and you knew she was from a hit TV show. Um, but yeah, she only killed Randy in the movie, and she's like, "Oh, I got a little crazy when they were talking bad about my boy." Then she kills him, and which is too bad too, because it could have been a cool little chase sequence with him before she did her little stupid reveal. But they did do the like the huh.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was that flash of a second where you thought it was Gail, remember? Like she steps out. But like even then I don't know. I didn't buy it. I was like, no, she's clearly frightened. She's, yeah. I'm like, nice try. And they also do this thing where like when Liev Schreiber like shoots and then they both Sydney and Debbie Salt fall down. And for no reason, Sydney's like, oh, she's dead.
I hate when they do those things in movies. It's like when they shoot each other like close up, and they're like, and then this person who's doing this doesn't die. They're not the one shot. They're that shocked that they do. But maybe they were expecting to be shot. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I don't
But
know why.
you hear the gunshot and you're like, was it me? Oh wait, no, I'm safe.
Okay, now that we're complaining, I do really. I remember this when it was happening, when Debbie Salt is climbing on top of the bricks.
Those clearly rubber doesn't weigh a thing bricks. Yeah.
Yes, but yet they put the sound effects and good sound effects. But like, I'm like, no, I am not buying this. And oh my gosh, yeah, didn't really care for that part, but overall, pretty good. Although, yeah, we should probably stop. I'll just tear this movie apart right now.
But yeah,
Uh,
overall, we still love the movie.
yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Um, well, that was the end of the show, right? Like, subscribe, comment. Go to my movierecollection.com. This was Vincent Cloud.
Scott Allwood.